the students from McCaffrey Middle School on May 14th. And he had some heroic efforts. I would like Alejandra, our CBO, to explain what she saw you do on the video.
Well, first I want to say thank you. But what he did, he immediately, he quickly initiated action in the moment. He immediately guided students off the bus to ensure their safety and acted heroic to ensure everyone was okay. We are incredibly proud of his outstanding character and grateful for his actions. So we have a certificate for you. If you want to come up. We're so very thankful. Here we go. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You want to get a picture of him, Matthew? Yeah, you can see him on the bus. He's yelling. He's not yelling, but firmly telling kids, get off, get off. He's letting them get off before himself. And yeah, doing a great job.
You want to come up and take a picture right here so that way?
He'll be in the paper.
With the board.
You can take your certificate.
With the board right here?
Yeah, maybe with the board in the
Background.
There you go. Yeah, right there.
Right there. Right there.
There you go.
Okay. All ready? Smile. Thank you.
Congratulations.
May I add? I think it's important to recognize children all the time, but I also think it's a reflection of the family. So to the family that is here, thank you so much. Also former students, so.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very special.
Yes. All right, so we can go ahead and get into our board meeting protocols. We start our meeting for tonight. Our session is being recorded and open to the public and broadcast live through Zoom teleconference. For public comments, there are 3 minutes per agenda item. The board shall limit the total time for public comment for each agenda item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the board president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public comment. To make a comment in person, there are the forms right over there at the desk, and give that to our board meeting assistant, Ms. Bach. Email public comments would go to the superintendent 24 hours before the meeting. We did not receive email comments tonight. Board vote and connectivity. Each motion will be followed by a roll call vote for action items. Should a board member attend the meeting remotely and lose connectivity by teleconference or phone, the meeting will be delayed by 5 minutes. We do have Trustee Harper that is attending remotely tonight, and her location was posted on our agenda. And regular board meetings shall be adjourned by 10:30 p.m.
Then we'll go on to new business, item 232.510. Board consideration of approval of resolution number 17, resolution of the Board of Education of the Galt Joint Union Elementary School District ordering an election to authorize the issuance of school bonds, establishing specifications of the election order, and requesting consolidation with any other elections occurring on November 5th, 2024.
All right, thank you. I will go ahead and start this. I did want to, Catherine Harper's not online with us yet. We'll let you know if she joins us, but she's not online yet. We do have our legal counsel, Kip Panett, that is with us online. He's here to answer any questions for this action item as well. Kip was responsible, part of the team that helped develop this resolution, number 17, that's before you tonight. So as you know, the board has been considering a bond for the November election. And we've started a few months ago using FM3 research that did a survey. And at that time, the survey came back pretty favorable for our district at about 66% that would favor a bond measure in November. And so then board chose to give direction to go forward with some more outreach. And so we have done that the last month, actually the last 6 weeks. And I will share with you what we have received so far. There's a brief PowerPoint that we will project for you, and it's in your packet as well. It's behind the resolution and some of the other documentations. But we had the mailer that went out that you have there before you, that went out to 9,300 residents in Galt. Most of them were registered voters, but we did send the flyer also, or the mailer, to all of our families, regardless if they were registered to vote or not, but the large majority that received them are registered voters. We also had a QR code, so you could give us feedback that way as well. You didn't have to send in the mailer. We'll see, Ms. Bott, I can start with the PowerPoint if you don't have it up. Our board, you have it in here. It's brief, just a few slides, but wanted to give you a snapshot of what we got from the outreach. So there's the next page is just a picture of the mailer. It was mailed out June 5th. And there was an option in Spanish as well, and the information was on our website and also a QR code. We also sent all of this information out a few different times to our families in a newsletter. We sent it out also via Blackboard to all of our parents. The city of Galt also sent out the information that's in our newsletter with the QR code and their Connect with Galt. And so we try to put it out there as many ways as possible to get feedback. The next page, so the survey overview, as of last week, we had 52 responses. That has gone up to 67 as of today. The purpose of this really was to involve the community. It is important to remember that this kind of survey is not scientifically accurate. What FM3 researched, that was scientifically accurate, the way they polled. But this gives us, it gets the community involved and it gets it out there. And we did get some good feedback. Out of the 67 comments, 15 of them, I would say if you read their comments, you would infer that they would vote no. I would say probably a hard no. And so that's 78% in favor, 22% not. We need a 55% to pass. Again, it's not scientifically accurate to do this, but I think that's a pretty good sign. For out of the 15 that were probably a no, it might have, don't you already have a bond? Don't raise taxes. Quite a few from residents that are on a fixed income and can't afford taxes. That was probably about 5 of them. But the rest that left comments, the large majority out of the 67 were very favorable. Schools need it, do it for our kids. It's the district is doing a good job with their money, things like that. And I think the next slide shows you, not yet, last slide shows you some of the actual responses. But the next slide shows you, and this was out of the 52. So it shows you that the majority were parents, grandparents, or guardians. And then the next group is that 38%, the orange community members that took this survey. And then if you go to the results, the highest, the blue there, that's the high. So it looked like the community or those that responded, they feel that fixing deteriorating roofs, plumbing, bathrooms, sewer, heating, ventilation, and electrical systems, that's what they rated the highest. And then what they rated lowest was, which kind of surprised me, was improved campus security systems, including emergency lighting, fencing, doors, alarms, and cameras. That was the lowest. But the blue shows high, they all are pretty high for need. But you can see that one on the end there stands out. And then here's the last page that we chose 2 that were for it and 2 that kind of looked like they were against it. Had children in the district 40 years ago. Students are our future. We need to provide for them. District already did this. Schools were fixed. We need this for our kids. Thank you. Mirrors in all restroom schools. We already pay a high number of taxes. How many bonds do we need? So I wanted to give you a sample. But again, out of the 67, only 15 that I think would be probably a hard no. The resolution is here for you. Again, this has been approved by many, many eyes, including legal counsel and also Lori Ranieri, our financial advisor, and her team worked with this to review this. Joey Coomer also helped us on this resolution. The resolution has a project list. It has how much the bond would cost taxpayers. There's a tax statement as well. Exhibit B has the language of what would actually be on the bond that our voters would see. And we went through this many, many different times, different edits for this, but that's Exhibit B. If approved, that's exactly how the bond, the language would read. And then, let's see, is Kip on Kauai or is Ms. Harper on? Just curious.
They both.
Okay, good. So we have Kip on and we have Trustee Harper on now too, so that's good. I don't know, Kip, if there's anything that you would like to add related to the resolution or the tax statement?
No, I mean, not really. If the board has any questions for me, I'm happy to answer that. The purpose of the resolution is simply to order the election, place the measure on the ballot, and put the question to the voters. So the resolution and the full text of the ballot measure that's attached to it really speak for themselves. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Discussion, the board, feelings at this time?
A little disappointing, isn't it? 9,300. Brings that one, we got 67 people.
67.
respond.
Yeah.
I concur. That's very, hard to take the pulse of the community when.
Yeah, because like, what's gonna happen is if we vote this in, and then people are gonna be like, well, we didn't hear about it, we didn't even know about it. You hear that stuff all the time.
Yeah. Well, and I feel Galt Herald has done a really good job the last few meetings, putting the conversation, whether it's been a report or an action item for the consulting or informing the community. It's been in the Galt Herald, and I feel like we've done what we could to try to get the word out there. And most of the feedback we got were from the mailers. I think we only had about 20 responses when we had just the QR code, and then the mailers did start coming in, and maybe we'll get a few more. But the consultant, she said most of the time, people that are going to respond, they're gonna respond within a couple of days. They're gonna put that stamp on it, and it's gonna go out within a few days if they feel obligated to respond.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to have more taxes or pay more, but I think the schools need it, and the money's probably not gonna come in any other way. I mean, I was very leery about putting the money out there to get it on the ballot. I feel a little better that the high school's not doing it, because I was kind of worried that if both districts did it, that might hurt us. I don't know, does anyone else have any thoughts?
I can share mine. So when we sort of talked about it a couple meetings ago, I think, we were sort of on the fence about, and then hoping that we would get some additional information to help sort of push this one way or another. And I think since then, we've seen the facilities master plan, which definitely identified some needs. And then also, although we didn't get a lot of responses, there's nothing to me that's saying blaringly stop at this point. So I'm okay with, moving forward. I would, vote to put it to the voters. But that's sort of my thought process just at this point. I mean, the economic, I don't see that changing anytime soon. So it's, if we put it off, it's just gonna probably get, our needs are just gonna get more and more and more, right? And with the economic conditions sort of remaining the same. So taking that out of the equation, people are prioritizing, that these needs are, good for the community. But at least at this point, I think putting it to the voters is, seems like a reasonable next step.
Catherine, can you hear us? Don't know if you wanted to share any thoughts or.
She's currently muted. She's
Okay.
not unmuting.
I think that the needs of the school are pretty strong. And the only way we're gonna keep our facilities maintained as well as they are and improve some of the other things is with the bond. We don't have any other sources that are gonna be able to handle maintenance, unfortunately. That isn't in our budget.
I do appreciate also the honesty and the responses. I mean, it's easy to sort of put aside those ones that aren't in favor, but, you know, the transparency, I think, is a key component in this whole process. So I appreciate that.
Then can I get a motion to approve item 232.510?
I make the motion.
Okay, thank you, Wes. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you. I have a motion from Wesley Cagle to approve item number 232510, resolution 17. Seconded by Casey Repole. Tracy Skinner,
Aye.
Annette Kunze,
Hi.
and we are unable to connect verbally with Ms. Harper.
Okay.
I see her there, but.
Okay.
So the motion carries.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted. This is Catherine. Sorry about that.
Catherine Harper,
Yes, I.
thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
All right, we'll move forward with next steps.
Do we have any public comments for topics not on the agenda?
No, we do not.
Okay. Then we'll move on to reports.
All right, we're starting with Earth Day Compost Project. Lisa Klotz from Cal Waste.
This one's full.
Oh dear, this is like theater in the round. I'll just stand here so I look back and forth a little bit. But I've got a little PowerPoint to bring with you as well. So I am currently the Director of Education at Cal Waste Recovery Systems. And it was my hope that we could bring partners together in the city and the schools and with businesses and service organizations to be able to make this happen, and that's exactly what did take place. One of the other underlying goals was to have something substantial that the students could really relate to in the food waste and composting area, being asked to do their separation of food and trash in their cafeterias. Also to give us a platform and material that we could build a refresher program at the beginning of the year that we could send you, so that we could remind the students when they come back from school. So I'll just get started now that it's up. It is the city of Galt, the high school district, Galt Elementary School District, Cal Waste, and the local Galt Sunrise Rotary that partnered together on this Earth Day Compost project. It was focused on Senate Bill 1383, we are all familiar with. It's the infamous bill that is requiring us to do quite a number of things and being done very well in your schools. As I'm visiting them to do other recycling, I'm peeking in your cafeterias, and you're doing an absolutely fabulous job. And then the other thing that I want to let you know is you're doing such a great job that we don't have to worry about Cal Recycle. They are having a whole fleet of climate action interns coming. They've been visiting different districts that we participate with as well. They're watching the programs and lifting lids. And so I'll be happy to report to them that you're doing a really great job. So this is about processing what happens afterwards once the students separate their food from their trash in the cafeteria. So we have a general program that we present in schools. We're happy to do it, any refresher you'd like in your school. It's about food waste recycling, it's about a healthy planet, and it is about a healthy you. That's what we're trying to have a very positive feedback on this for the students. So we start this program by talking about what it is, food waste recycling, why we do it. We throw away a lot of food. And we talk about how much money it is and what the volume is and how it's more than just food. It is also the farmer's time and the expense that goes into that as well. So we talk a little bit about that when we do the presentations in the school to help them understand why we're doing that and that it's also a law so that they're required to do it. We take it back to the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, and recycle, so that they can have a foundation, a historical foundation, because we teach that a lot, reduce, reuse, and recycle, but we teach that in food waste as well. So reduce, take only what you need. We like to use the example of, do you really need 18 packets of ketchup for your French fries? Do you really need 14 scoops of oranges? Take only what you need. Take only what you need. And then we talk about reusing. Share tables are a marvelous way to reuse as well. This is also opening the door for you as a district, because all of your schools are going to be required as part of Senate Bill 1383 to do that food waste recovery. And so it just opens the door to that possibility again. And then in the end, do the food scrap recycling. And so we teach the students, it's really very simple. We try to break it down to food and everything else. We know as citizens that we are required to also do food, soiled paper, pizza boxes, things like that in our organic waste container. But in schools, we keep it simple so that it's a one function. They only have to think of one thing, food, and everything else. So we do that. All right, so, and then to put it in the proper container. So we show them consistent signage through all the schools and going up in the grade levels as well. So that's the program that we do, and we want to remind them. And so at the end, we teach them about what happens to it afterwards. We go to all this effort and trouble, what happens to it afterwards? And we want to feed the earth what we don't eat. There's lots of things we can do with that food waste. We can take it to an anaerobic digester. We can turn it into electricity, generate electricity for schools and homes. We can turn it into a sustainable biofuel that can run school buses and trucks. We can also pasteurize it, dehydrate it, turn it into livestock feed, dog food, different things like that. But mostly we turn it into compost. So we want to feed the earth back what we don't eat. So those farmers that are growing healthy and nutritious food with chemical-free soil amendments can grow that healthy and nutritious food for them again. And this is the jumping off point for the project that we were doing with compost. So I was talking to Laura Sumner at the city of Galt one day, and I said, so what you doing with all that compost that you're required to buy back? And they said, well, not really sure. It's a lot. And so I said, do you think you could give some of it to the schools? We'd really like to show the students exactly what happened to their pizza slice and their banana peel. And we wanted to show them the whole entire closing the loop on the recycling. And she goes, that is a fabulous idea. And so she was the one that helped process the permission to be able to gain that compost that we did. And we developed the program, Love Your Earth, Recycle Your Food Scraps. And it all started with 24 tons of compost being dropped on McCaffrey Farm. So we spoke to the ag department and Mandy Gardner, gives the key to the fence so we could get in and do that. And dropped all 24 tons of it right there. The excess that we didn't use in the elementary schools is being used on their farm. So that is, again, being used. Okay, oh yeah, it was a lot. I was there, a whole lot. And so what happened after that was the Cal Waste team went out and we scooped all that. And we put it in the food waste, residential organic waste containers. We wanted to build that relationship that they could take that message home. That food that you put in at school, that food that you put in at home can return to you in a way that can benefit you, that can benefit the earth and benefit you. Along the way, the city also provided, through a grant from Cal Recycle, provided wheelbarrows, rakes, shovels, gloves for all the kids, did all kinds of great stuff like that. And so we scooped it all up and delivered it to the schools with the permission of the principals. Thank you very much. You were very kind in opening your doors to us. And in coordination with the extended learning program and Lori Jones, put us in contact with all of the extended learning supervisors, and they gathered their forces together. And when we brought the compost to the schools, they spread it like crazy. So they shoveled it out and put it in their school gardens. And then the Galt Sunrise Rotary said, oh dear, that's just a bunch of dirt. What are we going to do with that? We need to send you some plants and some seeds and things so the kids can actually plant. And so along with the shovels and rakes and wheelbarrows and tons of compost, they received plants and seeds as well. So over the course of the week after Earth Week in April, we delivered the compost to all 5 schools. And so all 5 extended learning programs participated in it. They all were out there shoveling and having a good time and pulling the weeds. I wanted them to come to my house. Like, come on over to my house and we'll pull the weeds so we can have a clean garden. They were all having lots of fun. We were talking about what this really meant along the way as well. This is the compost. This is what came from your cafeteria. This is what comes from your home. And they asked lots of questions, and they just had a good time, a really good time. This one is Marengo, and let's see, whoops. One school, we love them dearly, but in your last grant effort, you put us a new building on top of your school garden, and the school garden hadn't quite been developed yet. So the after-school coordinator purchased some planter boxes so that their school could participate as well. So that was really great. And some school gardens were rather large. This one is at Lake Canyon, and it is in coordination with the special ed department, who does a marvelous job on that. And so I think there's even a city council member there shoveling a little bit. I'm not really sure. And so school gardens, large and small, all received compost and plants. And the goal of the whole thing was to have the students do it. They did the shoveling, they did the filling the gardens up with all kinds of work and questions and closing the loop on what they've been doing in their cafeterias. So our goal, or my personal goal with this as well, is I've arranged with the after-school extended learning coordinators that I can visit them after school and take a look at their progress and take some pictures. And what we really would like to do is show some harvesting pictures, show some eating pictures from that harvest, and then show some recycling of what's left over from that harvest, so that we can then put together a refresher program that we can then bring to your school in the way of maybe a voice over PowerPoint, short video, presentation, so that we can, again, remind your students that nourishing your body is important for healthy living. Having that healthy food, the best way to recycle it is to eat it. But if you're not going to eat it, we want to nurture our planet, and we want to have a healthy environment. So a lot of fun had by all. Thank you so much to the principals for being open to this, and your extended learning coordinators and the school board, and Superintendent Yan. She was my first phone call. Can we do that?
I said, sure. Lisa, I'll do all the work. I said,
I
come
know.
on, Lisa.
Anyway, I want to thank you for your partnership. It was a really wonderful partnership between the City of Galt, the high school, the elementary schools, Cal Waste, and the local Rotary Club. So you don't get those people all together too often, and I think that it was a fabulous job. So congratulations to you all for participating. I think the kids got a lot out of it.
Well, thank you for your
That's it.
work, for organizing. That was great. So thank you. Sorry. Moving into our next report item, now looking at some student data.
Yes, thank you. So as you take a look at the district reading assessment results for K-3, we want you to proceed with caution. And what we mean by that is that we want you to remember that the assessments that the children take at each grade level have different components. Some of the components build upon previous ones. Some components are unique to that grade level, but all assessments ultimately assess foundational reading skills. So for example, in kinder, we assess letter sounds. In first grade, we assess irregular words. In second grade, we assess rate. In third, we assess accuracy. This past year, the decision was made to ensure that all reading passages, were normed. And it was decided that we would no longer use passages that were either adjusted or were created using SIPS stories. In addition, it was decided that we would use standardized reading rates. So the data that you have reflects the percent of students who met all of the end of the year targets. So children who met all but one were not counted. So after long discussions with our administrative team, it was determined that many of the children, in particular in second grade, many did not meet the rate target, but met everything else. Again, those children are not counted in the scores that you see. So rate, again, was clearly identified as the reason why many students were not counted on the data sets. You can see, you can clearly see that some cohorts made growth, but none of the cohorts made the 10% growth target that we were expected. And that is true district-wide, and that is true for every school site. If we could just scroll, please, thank you. Again, I want you to recognize that there was growth made, but not the 10% that we were expected. And again, we're looking at cohorts. So the same group of children from year to year. So now I want you to know that we don't plan on lowering the rate target. We don't plan on adjusting the reading passages. We will keep the ones that we have. Each administrative team has analyzed the data by student, by grade, by teacher, and has identified initial next steps. So what we would like is each site principal to share with us what might be some of the next steps to ensure that the next time around we see greater growth. Again, keep in mind that although we see a lot of no's, there was growth made. There was a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work took place in each classroom. But again, do know that the targets were adjusted to ensure that they are normed, that they are standardized, and that they are no longer something that we created or rates that we identified as, what the target should be. These are normed, standardized across the nation. So with that, maybe we'll start with Greer. Can you just highlight maybe the next initial step after analyzing the data?
Yeah, depending on the grade level, we're looking at the professional development. And then really fluency is really going to be a focus in every grade level starting from first grade, because fluency numbers jumped a bit. And so we knew that, and we had a focus on fluency, but I think coming off of our old assessments, the jump was so big that the previous grade level hadn't, prepared for that. So we're playing catch up. We've piloted some Read Naturally online for fluency. I think all of our sites have. Teachers are not quite as savvy in that area. They tend to like the old Read Naturally fluency program. So
we'll use those things, rally strategies. Benchmark has a fluency component as well, and so, you know, we're all aware that we have a lot of work to do in fluency rate, including, you know, increasing the number of words students read. The more they read, the more fluent they are. And we also know that our DRAs are directly correlated to our SBAC scores or MAP scores. So, you know, it's a starting point, but we're glad that assessments changed, and we're glad that they're standards-based. So we've got a lot to do.
Thank you. And I want to highlight something that you said. The more they read, obviously the better that everything becomes. And it's important that children aren't just reading at school, that they're reading at home, that they're reading all the time, especially in the early grades. So with that, we'll move on to Lake Canyon.
Yes, I actually brought a copy just to show the board. This is a component from our benchmark curriculum that we're gonna try to use a little bit more next year, and it informs rate and fluency. And so knowing that the passages are no longer built specifically around the SIPs curriculum, this component will help the students to understand words that maybe they're not seeing every day in SIPs. And so that'll be one of the tools. In addition, we're building a 2-week jumpstart program. We've met with our MTSS team and identified, probably 35, 40 students across our primary grades who will have targeted intervention beginning the second day of school before they take their first round of assessments. And we're activating all of our instructional assistants and even some community partners to help us with implementing that special jumpstart intervention. So those are a couple new things that are coming as we continue to make data-informed decisions.
I also want you to know that Jennifer, that will share next, she was the first principal that called and said Cleo was raped. I know it was right, I can see it. So do know that our team will analyze data again at the student level, teacher level, grade level, and immediately we'll call to say, okay, so what do we do now? So with that, Miranda Ranch.
We knew that the expectation for rate was gonna increase by the third trimester. It got higher each trimester as we tested kids. We knew we were gonna struggle meeting that target. So we were incorporating things like Read Naturally throughout the school year. We had our specialists that were also partnered with our grade level teams working on things like sight word development or on fluency. The biggest thing is that practicing piece. And we're struggling, I think, with finding time during the day to get that done because it's not necessarily happening outside of school like it used to. And so we're trying to figure out how to make that happen during the day. So finding time to listen to kids read takes time, but it's so critical when it comes to this. So these are some of the things we're doing.
Thank you. River Oaks.
You know, after further looking at the data, one of the things I noticed in our student groups, when it breaks it down by student group, what is a targeted area? And so for us, we were looking more at an area to target would be our English learners and helping them, and particularly when they're learning English as well as, you know, in their own home language, how can we help with the rate and the fluency? And so kind of taking for me next steps, really opening up and revisiting our systems of what ELD instruction is looking like in designated time, and in talking in academic conferences of maybe how we could spend time on fluency with our English learners, specifically targeting and seeing if that can be targeted differently.
Thank you. Valley Oaks.
Well, I want to thank every other principal for sharing just about everything.
I think you were gonna say that you were gonna say that.
I appreciate that. One of the things that we noticed as well with the rate, but also with kindergarten, they don't test for rate, but they do test for sight words. and sight words are words that don't follow necessarily the phonetic pattern. And one of the things that we noticed with our kindergarten students is those, almost all of them who didn't meet the DRA requirements for kinder were in the area of sight words. So, in analyzing the data, it looks a little bit different at different grades, and some are a little bit more, I'd say severe than other grades. But we also looked at, well, what are we doing? What's doing well? I mean, if we're making it in the other areas and not in grade, well, they're accurate, they're reading correct words per minute, so we know that they're accurate in their reading. How do we improve their speed or their fluency? And one of the things that we're going to be doing at Valley Oaks is turning it over a little bit to the teachers, because as the teachers come up in their grade level with their own change idea, the resources are there. We don't have to invent or reinvent the wheel, but part of the power of the change idea or the PDSA is that they come up with it themselves. And when they come up with the actions and the ways to achieve the goal, we've found this way more effective. So putting it a little bit on the team to look at what their particular set of students need, set the goals, and utilize the materials that are already there to improve.
So bringing it back, I want you to know that it is extremely hard to bring data like this to you. But the data is what it is. But I think more than the numbers that you see in the nose, the level of conversations, of thought, of critical analysis, of truly analyzing the what and when and how, that's what will make the difference for children. So yes, we did increase the targets. We are very hopeful that the children will meet those targets, but do know that it is very hard to bring data like this to you, but this is where we are. I hope you had a good idea of what each school will do moving forward. And I hope you got a general idea, again, of the level at which they analyze the data to ensure that we keep moving forward. So with that, any questions or any thoughts with the DRA?
Just, we were talking, you mentioned SIPS a lot. When does SIPS end? I know it begins in TK, kinder, but I kind of remember it ending like first grade.
It continues. It depends on the child, Casey, and some will finish certain levels faster, but we ask that all children finish all 3 levels. Most finish that at the end of 3rd. We do have some children that still need specific support with specific patterns of reading, so they will continue in 4th grade, typically not beyond that. Typically. It is a solid, systematic program that we feel is truly helping children.
I really enjoyed it. I really felt like it really helped my kids learn to read well.
Yeah, it's a good program, research-based, it's
Yes.
been around for a long time.
I know, because it's been around.
It's been around for a long time.
For a while.
Yeah.
Actually, I do remember before SIPS. I was there when you still did Denilian. So, yeah, but I really enjoyed SIPS. So, yeah, it's kind of shocking.
Well, and I do think that point about reading outside, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's sort of a lost hobby, sadly, so, maybe it'll make a comeback, I don't know, but I just know that was a really big component of always being reading outside the class.
It's fostering that love of reading, and it helps if it's at home. That support. And going to I don't know, now it's more digital. Before it was, let's go to the library and, take in your bucket and everybody get your books. And
Well,
Well, thank you. So we'll move on to MAP. And by now, you know that we administer MAP to first and second grade students in the spring. We don't administer this assessment in grades 3-8 because they take us back. So the data in front of you reflects the percent of students who met the 60th percentile for reading and math. The LCAP goal is to increase the percent of students reaching that target by 10%. We are excited to share that most schools met the target for math, and both Marengo Ranch and Lake Canyon met the target for both reading and math. This data is used to guide professional learning events at the sites. It's also used to measure the effectiveness of the PDSAs, which I think you heard a couple of our principals talk about. It can guide the discussions during academic conferences. More attention is needed in the area of reading, but overall we are excited with the growth gained in math. Any thoughts or comments? This data set? Okay.
all right, thank you, Cleo. So now we are moving on to dashboard local performance indicators.
Thank you. So this is something that we now bring to you every year. We are required to bring the dashboard local performance rankings as a component of the LCAP process. The purpose of this report is to inform the LCAP. And it's important to remember that the local indicators do not apply to individual schools, but rather to the district as a whole. These local indicators are part of the California School Dashboard, which will become public sometime in the fall. Once the California dashboard becomes public, it will include both the state indicators and the local indicators that you're seeing tonight. So these are the set of local measures. Kauai, I'm not sure if we can project.
The local indicators. I will get them.
Thank you. So we'll start with priority 1, basic conditions of learning. It starts on page 4 of the report that you have in front of you. Basic conditions of learning relates to ensuring that all students have access to teachers that are fully credentialed, that they have access to materials, and that they have a safe and properly maintained school. For priority 1, we will show a ranking of MET. For priority 2, implementation of state academic standards, that's found on pages 5 through 7. This priority ensures that all students are provided with academic content and standards which are aligned to the state standards. On page 7 of your report, you will find information related to professional learning, which is number 5, for which we have indicated a scale score of 5 in all 3 categories. So for priority 2, we will show a ranking of MET. Priority 3 and priority 6 are called G.
Thank you, Claire. So priority 3 addresses parental involvement and family engagement. And in this area, the self-reflection is around 3 specific areas. First, it starts on page 7. The first area is around building relationships between school and families. The second area is building partnerships for student outcomes. And the third area is seeking input for decision making. So under the building relationships criteria, I just highlighted, so on page 10, things that we have put into place to build that relationship. Our district website is available in multiple languages. All of our school sites and the district has many opportunities for family engagement types of activities. Talking about back to school nights, science nights, open house, fall festivals. These are opportunities for parents to be involved and develop that relationship. The second criteria is building partnerships. Here we have our advisory committees that we have in place. We examine state and local data that's presented at site and district stakeholder meetings. We have our community outreach coordinator that supports our school sites in terms of supporting our migrant families and our English learner families. And Parent View in our district student information system. That's on page 11. The third criteria is looking at when we are making decisions, do we seek input? And as we talked about yesterday, we have multiple opportunities for our stakeholders to participate in providing feedback and guidance. And this is our district advisory committee, our district English learner committee, our school site council meetings at our school sites, and then definitely through the LCAP process. So for priority number 3, we have a ranking of MET. Priority 6, this is on page, starts on page 13. And this assesses school climate, and this looks at school safety and connectedness. And this is measured through our Cal Schools surveys. And in terms of strengths based on our surveys for our 5th and 6th graders, areas that were scoring higher were academic motivation, high expectations, facility upkeep, parental involvement in school, feeling safe to and from school, and social and emotional learning supports available. 7th and 8th grade, similarly, high expectations, caring adult relationships, students being academically motivated, school as being perceived as safe, and clarity of rules were all scoring higher on those surveys. So for priority 6, we have a ranking of MET.
So priority 7, access to a broad course of study. It's found on page 16. This priority ensures that all students have access to all subject areas that prepares them for college and careers, regardless of what school they attend when they leave. If you take a look at number 3 on page 16, you will see that no barriers have been identified. In providing access to all students for priority 7, we will show a ranking of MET. So the completion of this report, and by reporting the district's findings to the governing board and to the public, our district is considered to have met the standards set by the California Department of Education for these local indicators.
All right, so next we have the annual Fairsight State Preschool Program Self-Evaluation, and we have Principal Laura Marquez with us tonight to go over that. We have a PowerPoint that is in your packet for you, but we will also project that. Thank you for being with us tonight, Mrs. Marquez.
Would you like me to stand here with you?
Sure. No microphone, right?
Okay, I will, sorry. Yes, so as Lois mentioned, annually, we are required to do a program self-evaluation of our state preschool program. This is required per our contract. The review itself does cover a broad range of programmatic and operational components, looking at family files, fees, our notices that we provide to families, our lesson planning, our enrollment, how do we determine wait lists, what types of meals are we serving. So it's very broad. But Ms. Marquez is here to share with you some highlights and areas of focus for the next year.
Thank you. Okay. Kauai, starts with a K. Our goal at Fairsight is to prepare students for kindergarten. So these are all of the areas that we focus on. We want to prepare them academically and socially as well. Next slide, thank you. This past year, we had 7 preschool teachers, 14 instructional assistants, 4 staff members in our school readiness center, and those staff members provide a wealth of information, resources, and support for all of our Fairsight families, but not only Fairsight, the entire district. They are out at many events, and parents come to them. We have 2 staff members who are home visitors. They go to the homes and provide support for parent and child, and they also provide opportunities for parents to come to campus with their children for some parent-child play groups, and one of our preschool teachers provides another set of play groups.
We had 189 total preschoolers enrolled, the majority of them in our general education program, but we also have preschoolers in special education, and that number does include the home visitation participants. And these are the tools and processes that we use to evaluate teaching and learning. The DRDP is a formative assessment tool developed by the CDE, and that focuses on the critical components for high quality early education. The environmental rating scale is to assess the physical environment of our program. There's a preschool parent survey, and the last two are district processes that we also use. And a snapshot from the preschool parent survey, an area of strengths that parents feel that students are safe and happy in the program, and they are satisfied with the interaction between staff and students. And an area for growth is increased opportunities for parent engagement. So we have a plan in the works to provide many more opportunities for parents to be involved in their child's education and on our campus. And this is a snapshot of preschool-wide, not school-wide, just the preschool, results from the DRDP. And if you look at that scale along the top, the progression from left to right with the goal of kinder entry, that's what we're working towards. So one area of strength was in the area of language and literacy, and 48% of our students fell in the building middle stage. Another area of strength was physical development, 35%. Fell in the building later stage. And an area for growth is in the language development domain, as only 19% of our students reach the exploring later stage or above. So we have ongoing work to do in this area in order to make sure that our students are well prepared for their communication skills, both expressive and receptive. And for our district assessments, this is a snapshot of how they did with our math assessments. We had very high percentages of students doing very well with their color recognition, object counting, and extending patterns. That's it, unless you have any questions or comments.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Laura. Next, we'll move on to a brief update on summer food program.
So for our school district participates in our seamless summer feeding option. It's offered through the California Department of Education through our Nutrition Services Department. We provide free summer meals and are available for children in the community that are 18 years and younger. Breakfast and lunch are being served at the following sites. We have Marengo and Valley Oaks. Both have summer school. They began providing these seamless options on June 14th through July 24th. Breakfast is served at from 7:30 to 8 a.m. Lunch is served from 11 to 11:30. We did have additional sites added in the location, Fairside Elementary on June 10th through July 26th, and the Galt Aquatic Center, and we provided the times on there. We also had another outside option is the Manor on Thornton from June 11th through July 23. Children receive bagged breakfast for a 5-day meal plan. Pickups are every Tuesday, and then on the holiday days we don't serve meals, which is June 19th and July 4th. And the great thing is that it's provided to the whole community, even from cousins or families if they go at the locations there to eat the meal. So it's and we're happy to be able to provide foods for our community.
Thank you. So I just wanted to highlight the ribbon cutting event for the track at Marengo Ranch. And I wanted to thank the Galt Herald for writing a great report highlighting that. And Trustee Coonsey and Cable attended that event. So a few months ago, we reported that S&B James Construction, along with some of their subcontractors, donated their time, equipment, materials to put in a running track at Marengo Ranch, and it's completed. And there was a nice ribbon cutting event. Mr. Jumper cut the ribbon. All of the students were out there, and all of the staff. And there's some pictures there that we're sharing with you in your binder. The students were very grateful. Many, many thank you signs. We love you, S&B James. Just many of the staff were wearing the T-shirts that they received from 5 years ago when S&B James first were remodeling that school, and it was a very nice event. So just wanted to again highlight how much we appreciate them and great work. And we're getting now, our grounds team is working on getting the grass green again around the track, because of course it died during the construction of it. So we're working on that this summer, but it's ready to go, and we got to see all the kids run on it after they cut the ribbon. So just wanted to highlight that. And now we'll move on to a report from our outdoor and environmental educational coordinators, Bill Beckett and John Durant. I have a PowerPoint for you as well. It is in your packet, but we will present that.
Thank you for having outdoor education here this evening. We're excited to share our year with you. As you can see, outdoor education offers a myriad of opportunities to students, everything from acorn collecting to anadromous fish in the classroom. We started our year off with acorn collecting with 3rd grade students to provide a hands-on learning experience that complements the season and weather units that they're learning in their classrooms. Group of Valley Oaks 3rd graders on their acorn collecting trip there, have a good time. Next up is the pumpkin patch at McFarland Living History Ranch, where students get to harvest a pumpkin off the vine, learn about plant life cycles, collect scientific data related to pumpkins, and learn where their food comes from through making dishes like pumpkin pudding. A group of career students with their pumpkins, with our pumpkin patch in the background. There's corn planted, tomatillos, and pumpkins in the pumpkin patch. So it's kind of a fun space for the students to go out and harvest a pumpkin.
I'll talk a little bit about Salmon in the Classroom program. That's a program we started back in 1991. There were a couple of schools in California involved in the project. I started the project in adult schools in my 4th grade class at Fairside, and it grew within the region and within California. And as of now, there's about 120 classrooms in the Sacramento region. This year, about 16 classrooms in adult schools. At every school, middle school, it touches a number of students through their science classes, but very impactful. So Bill and I go out to the hatchery first thing in the morning. We count out 35 fertile salmon eggs in November, steelhead in February, deliver those to the classrooms. The students and the teachers have already prepared a tank, a chilled aquarium in their classroom, a tank that simulates the river environment. So in addition to learning and observing the fish life cycle, they're learning about the important ecosystem components for successful salmon survival. And then as the eggs hatch and develop, the students are making observations. It's really, and it's not necessarily a field trip program, though some classes do take field trips to release the fish, but they're observing the life cycle day in and day out as the changes occur. This is a critical project with the current salmon crisis. As you may know, recreational commercial fishing is closed in California for the 2nd year in a row, result of water policies, multiple years of drought, but huge economic impacts, environmental impacts, and the cultural impacts. So there's lots of entry points for 4th grade teachers, 5th grade teachers, 6th grade teachers with arts, with science, with social studies. So it's a powerful hands-on learning, and the kids are emotionally attached. The fish have names when they release the fish. They have bon voyage cards, they release the fish, there are tears, it's quite a project. But it's one of the projects that really impacts students and is really important. So we're proud that the program has grown. We've had funding from NGSS grants, and we hope it continues to grow. But yeah, just an amazing project.
So this year we offered birding trips to students of all grade levels. So depending on their grade level, Students observe bird behavior, adaptations of birds in action, and learn the difference between migratory and resident birds. For fifth grade students, we offer combination trips to Staten Island and Summit River Preserve. At Staten Island, students get to see firsthand wildlife-friendly farming and its critical importance to overwintering sandhill cranes. They also learn about nutrient cycling and habitat requirements of migratory birds. This is the McCaffrey Environmental Club out at Summit River Preserve on a birding trip. In winter, 5th through 8th grade students plant acorns as part of ongoing habitat restoration projects at Summit River Preserve. Unfortunately, due to wet weather conditions this year, we weren't able to plant acorns in the ground, so we had students plant acorns in seed tubes, and Summit River Preserve staff and volunteers are caring for the now saplings that will be planted in this coming school year by students. These are River Oak 6th graders putting their seed tubes in seed tube racks and showing off the acorns they planted that day. For spring, we offer Pioneer Day programs. This is typically offered to 4th grade classes, but like all of the opportunities offered by outdoor education, it's highly adaptable to teacher and student educational needs. This year we had our first Pioneer Engineering Day, where Galt High School engineering students came out to McFarland Living History Ranch and learned about tools and manufacturing processes of the Pioneer era. The student picture did a great job assembling and branding his toolbox. We've got some Galt High students here making leather bookmarks with mallets and punches. April is Canoemobile, which for 6th grade students is the highlight of the educational programming year. Students get to go canoeing, cast a fly rod, investigate aquatic macroinvertebrates, learn about fly tying. They receive a presentation and participate in activities related to Leave No Trace and go on a guided nature walk as well. Lake Canyon 6th graders paddling their Canoemobile canoe. Our fly casting station with myself and CFFU volunteers providing fly casting instruction to students. And even Superintendent Lois Yawn.
I learned how to fly fish.
Fly casting instruction, yeah. Have you hit any streams lately, Lois?
No, he said I should. I was not too bad.
The fly tying station where students being taught to tie a woolly bugger by a California Fly Fishers Unlimited volunteer.
And I might mention Tim as Forrest, the casting instructor, nationally recognized fly tyer. He instructs at wildlife shows and international exhibits. So he came down, and so it's really high quality, hands-on mentoring with students, and boys and girls get into it. And it's a great tie to the aquatic entomology, which I think is the next slide.
Or 2 slides maybe. Yeah, here we've got River Oak 6th graders doing investigations of aquatic macroinvertebrates.
And I'll stop interrupting, but I love this slide because here are 8 young ladies that are so into the entomology and the science and taking the station so seriously. And as I mentioned, entry points. This is a wonderful entry point to get young people excited about science and about the outdoors. So, yeah, good stuff.
So lots of great statistics with Canoemobile. In the interest of time, I just wanted to highlight that we have 560 students participate in Canoemobile, and that required 53 Summit River Preserve staff and volunteers in order to make that programming happen. I'm being brief on purpose. I was given 8 minutes for our 32 slide presentation, so. A group of sixth graders after their canoe-mobile day with Wilderness Inquiry employees as they're about to board their bus. And of course, canoe-mobile would not be possible without all of the partners getting involved to make it happen. As somebody who is their first year doing the outdoor program, I was awestruck watching all these organizations come together to help students.
And yes, and I might mention tremendous help from the Bureau of Land Management at the national level, the state level, the regional level, and then preserve staff. So for our students, we're proud to be able to offer it at no cost to students or schools, transportation or the programming. But it's a huge investment from the U.S. Bureau of Land Management. And there's a reason why National Geographic film crew came out to the preserve to see Galt students in action during this program. So it's a high profile project that we're super, super proud of. The new boats we got last year will not undermine this program, it'll expand the program. So additional students will have the opportunity to get out in the water and explore our amazing waterways. Just an amazing project. But there's no. Yeah. We have another presentation. Yeah, we're given the look by Kauai. There's a couple more slides. That's only one. This is a fabulous program, but it's only 2 weeks, so there's more.
No, it's not letting us go any further. Okay, the next slides illustrate that outdoor education offers art projects. Yeah, perfect, thank you. Art projects for students. So this is McCaffrey Middle School's submission board for the 17th annual Galt Winter Bird Festival. McCaffrey art students came out and visited the preserve twice this year. So this is a student who visited in the spring. It's a small sketch, but man, the level of detail, like she captured this scene of wildflowers and butterflies perfectly. I was highly impressed by the level of talent of these students. And they also visited in winter to do sketches of some of the migratory waterfowl. So we've got a student here with a sketch she did of a goose. And an up-close picture of one of the McCaffrey Middle School art students' submission to Galt Winter Bird Festival. So in summary, we had 53 school field trip days serving 2,429 students for the year. And it was all grade levels, everything from Fair Site through McCaffrey, as I mentioned, Galt High. So lots and lots of opportunities for students, and even some public opportunities that we weren't able to include, like World Fish Migration Day, National Public Lands Day. And thank you so much to Galt Union Elementary School District for your continued support of the outdoor education program. Any questions?
Great job.
It's been a wonderful year and a great year of collaborating and working together on so many field trips. And as the program continues to expand in what direction from the preserve manager, we want to get more students out there. So it's been good working together and building the program after a few years of COVID. It's a pleasure to work with you.
I want to offer a thank you of John for helping me through my first year here and navigating. It's a huge program.
It's a huge program.
Teachers reach out to me. I had a teacher from Estrelita say, like, what can we do? And the email I sent back was, this long. And I had no idea there were so many things we could do.
Thank you. And one more quick story. We had a former student of mine from Fairside who released salmon in the classroom. He came back as a parent on World Fish Migration Day last month with his student who's also in Galt schools and talked about how impactful that project is. So these projects are important. So He planted trees, he raised salmon, so good stuff. So thank you for your
John and Bill,
continued
I
support.
want to thank you both because we see the pictures and we think, oh my gosh, that's wonderful, that's wonderful. But the amount of work, the amount of time, organization that takes into each event is enormous. And I want to thank you both for bringing so much to the kids because the learning, I hope that the board always continues to support this. It can't just happen in the classroom. We have to find ways to get kids outside because the learning it won't be complete if it only stays within the four walls. So thank you both for your hard work.
And I just wanted to say, I think that these type of experiences, people remember.
Yes.
Forever, like you said, that gentleman that brought his son. But also, I think it gives an opportunity for people who may never get these opportunities or even know how to go about it. And so you're planting those seeds that will carry them, into their first hiking trip and, they won't be so afraid. So I am fully supportive of this and all of those outdoor, we see so tremendous growth.
And career, introduction to careers in schools as well, which is really important. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill and John, great work. So last couple of reports, I just wanted to recognize Greer Elementary for their efforts in transitioning to schools as a center of wellness. We had Congresswoman Doris Matsui that came and visited Greer. Greer was the first school a few years ago to bring on a mental health clinician from SCOE through their Schools of Wellness program. And actually, Greer has been visited twice this year. SCOE brought a group of district leaders from outside of the district a few months back to visit Greer, and then they brought the Congresswoman, and she was very, very impressed. She got to go into a classroom, she got to talk to a student. There's a few pictures there for you. I included a handout from SCOE on what a school-based mental health wellness center or program is, and they consider Greer a model school right now, and we'll be continuing to bring visitors to Greer. And I know it's a lot of work for administration, but they plan on bringing more visitors, and it was really exciting. I wanted to thank Trustee Harper and Roy for attending that day. And it wasn't just we had Dave Gordon, County Superintendent. There was quite a few different leaders in the county that attended this event as well, and just great efforts to the staff and administration, and they've done a wonderful job supporting students and welcoming in the mental health clinician and building that system with our school counselor there and the support staff. And so we'll continue to learn on how they're doing the great things for students and staff over there. And our last report item has to do with the school board's annual conference. That information is out. It is in Anaheim this year. It's December 5th to the 7th. Registration has opened, and so if we want to send a team, then we want to get early bird registration. So just that time to plant the seed and start thinking about it as board members if you would like to attend in December. Again, in Anaheim for a few days. So far, we don't have any information on the presentations, but the registration's out, and they always encourage you to get the hotels booked as quickly as possible because they get fast. So I'll reach out to you. You can let me know if it's something that you're considering, and then we can start making registrations if we want to send a team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to item 232.511, board consideration of approval of consent calendar.
The only thing I'd like to highlight on the consent calendar before a motion would be a donation. Lake Canyon had a donation from the Galt Sunrise Rotary. They donated $300 towards a special education learning garden. We saw pictures of that tonight. Other than that, just routine business for consent calendar.
Can I get a motion to approve 232.511?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Annette. I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Annette Kunze to approve item number 232.511, seconded by Tracy Skinner. Casey LeBoy.
Aye.
Wesley Cagle.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
Okay. And now, 232.513, board action regarding student matter number 2324-01.
So we would need an action, a motion for a recommendation for an expulsion readmittance.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Wes.
Thank you. I have a motion from Tracy Skinner to approve item number 232513, seconded by Wesley Cagle. Casey Revoy.
Aye.
Annette Kunzi.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
Item 232.514, board consideration of approval of the Galt Joint Union Elementary School District 2425 LCAP.
So last night we had a public hearing and Kuljit Najjar, Director of Educational Services, did an excellent job presenting the LCAP to you. And so it's now an action item. We're happy to answer any more questions or if there's any feedback or public comments for the LCAP. But we did present the information last night.
Did we have any public comments, Clay?
There are no public comments.
It was a great presentation. Thank you. Then can I get a motion to approve 232.514?
I'll make the motion for 232.514.
Thank you, Casey.
I'll
Can I-
second.
Thank you, Annette.
Thank you. I have a motion from Casey Revoy to approve item number 232514, seconded by Annette Kunzi. Tracy Skinner.
Aye.
Wesley Cagle.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
232.515, board consideration of approval of the Galt Joint Union Elementary School District 2425 budget, which we had the presentation.
So likewise, like the LCAP, Alejandra Garibay, our CBO, did an excellent job presenting our budget, PowerPoint for you, and the executive summary of what the budget looks like right now as of June. And see if we have any public comments tonight for
We do not have any public comments.
so any other questions or clarification?
You did a great job last night. Can I get a motion to approve 232.515?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Wes. I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Wesley Cagle to approve item number 232515, seconded by Tracy Skinner. Casey Revoy.
Aye.
Annette Kunzi.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
And now 232.516, board consideration of approval of the 2425 Education Protection Act use of funds.
Okay, so the Education Protection Act, what we refer to as the EPA, requires the board to determine the use of the EPA funds. We cannot use the salaries or benefits for administration or any administrative costs. This is used strictly for teachers. The 24-25 budget for EPA funds are estimated at $10.7 million. Just to note, this is not additional funding, it's from the LCFF calculation in the budget. It's incorporated as part of the budgets. These funds will be used to cover the salaries and benefits of regular education classroom teachers for the upcoming school year.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. I will make the motion to approve item 232.516.
Second.
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you. I have a motion from Tracy Skinner to approve item number 232516, seconded by Casey Revoy. Annette Kunzi.
Aye.
Wesley Cagle.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
232.517, board consideration of approval of the 2425 consolidated application.
Thank you. So this is an annual item that we bring to the board. The consolidated application, or the CONAP for short, is used by the California Department of Education to distribute categorical funds from various federal programs to county offices, school districts, and charter schools. Annually, typically mid-May to end of June, each local educational agency using this application submits the spring release. And this is really for us to want to participate in these programs and federal funding, to request the funding and provide the assurances that the LEA will comply with the legal requirements that are required for each program. The program entitlements are determined by formulas that are contained in the laws, and we apply for Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV. What I've included for you is what we received this year as kind of a point of reference as we apply for funding for next year.
Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve item 232.517?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you, Annette. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you. I have a motion from Annette Kunze to approve item number 232517, seconded by Casey Raboy. Tracy Skinner.
Aye.
Wesley Cagle.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
Item 232.518, board consideration of approval of the 24-25 LCAP federal addendum.
Thank you. So the LCAP federal addendum is meant to supplement the LCAP to ensure that eligible school districts have the opportunity to meet the school district's plan provision under the Every Student Succeeds Act, which is the federal education law, to ensure that students receive a high-quality, well-rounded education that prepares them for long-term success. The SF funds are supplemental to state funds, just so the federal addendum is the plan on how we are going to spend these funds integrated into the LCAP. The title funds that we integrate into our LCAP spending are the Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV. These were reviewed as part of the LCAP yesterday.
Yes. Thank you. Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve 232.518?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Wes. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you. I have a motion from Wesley Cagle to approve item number 232518, seconded by Catherine Harper, seconded by Casey Raboy. Tracy Skinner.
Aye.
Annette Kunze.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
And then 232.519, board consideration of approval of the 24-25 single plan for student achievement for our schools.
So again, this is an annual item that we bring to the board for approval. As a condition of receiving Title I funding, a school is required to develop and implement the single plan for student achievement. The school plan for student achievement. The purpose of this plan is to again improve academic achievement throughout a school so that all students, particularly the lowest achieving students, demonstrate proficiency related to challenging state academic standards. The school site SIPSs align with the district's 2 LCAP goals, and these federal funds are supplemental in nature and intended to enhance or improve the services provided to the students. I do want to acknowledge all of the work that the administrators put into updating their SIPSs, and these are done in collaboration with their site partners. These are your English language advisory committees and their school site council that does have to approve them. And so it'd be great to hear a highlight from the SIPSs from the school administrators. We can start with Ms. Hayes.
Sure. I consider this to be a living document, and I do enjoy meeting with the ELAC group and my school site council. We look at the budget, we look at how our operations are aligning with our goals. And this year in particular, they really had kind of an eye on the safety of the campus. And at one of our meetings, we did a walkthrough, and they noticed some of the sidewalks happened to be uneven due to mature tree roots. And I was able to alert the district, and we had some work done around that safety item. And so it truly does inform all of the operations of our campus.
And I want to thank Kulji for all of her work. The template changed a little bit this year, and she was on it and was very, very helpful for all of us as we went through the revision process. And it really is a living document. It's never completed, and sometimes that can be a little frustrating for us because like, oh, I just finished this and now I have new data. But we're constantly looking at information that we receive, funding that we have available, what we're doing to support student learning, how can we make things better, and it's just a constant revision as we go throughout the year. And we do get a lot of really good feedback from students.
Yeah, I would also have to say, the same thing, thanking the district as well as Ms. Shar, their support she gave us through this whole process and organizing us to meet as a team to review our steps and provide insight to each other. So that's been helpful. Same thing, it's a living document, so we have to look at our student data as it comes through. One of the things that I have the aha moment is also to be able to support and train staff members to understand what the SIPSA actually is. And that's a highlight because they think that money just kind of grows on trees. Like my own teenage kids, they think that you can go in the backyard and dig out the $100. But it's interesting that they now need to understand the process and what goes through it. So bringing in the school secretary as well, bringing in the vice principals as part of the conversation, as well as our school site council, as well as our EVAC parents, and kind of really breaking down information. Again, it's one of those things that I have to look at it just because we wrote it right now. We need to look at the needs as the school year progresses. And like I said, it's beneficial as we did the wellness center this year. It was beneficial as we looked at our data. We had over 555 kids that access to that space for them. So as we look at the needs, the plan has to adjust as the needs change throughout the course of the year.
On this? I would like to thank all the directors and just the guidance of this new process and the structure as a new principal myself. I think what was really great about me walking through it this year of recognizing as a new leader on a newer campus that these are the needs we have, and coming off of COVID where we were. And what I like about this process is this is what our needs are, but where are we at and how does that align to the actions we've taken? And so the goals, goal 1, goal 2, if you look at those measurable outcomes, and that's kind of your checks and balances. So as I process this and really discuss this with schools like council and ELAC and other stakeholders, this was actual evidence of where we are at and what we're doing, and is what we're doing making a difference? And if not, what are our thoughts and ideas? What are our next steps? And so it's really a collaborative process. It is a lot, but it started, I feel like going through it in a new template forced us to really process what we were saying we want to do.
Mr. Nelson.
Thank you. Well, our district office team has been really helpful getting us familiar with it and giving us the time to be acquainted with the newer formats. We thank them. Part of what we're doing, and at least the way I think of it for the SIPSA, is really basic. Like, we get this money, how are we going to spend the money? It's got to be based on the goals that we have as a school. At Valley Oaks, we have nearly 50% or half of our students who are English learners. So we spend a lot of money, a lot of our money in our budget to specifically address our English learners and how do we help them graduate from English learner status to fluent proficient status. One of the indicators that the dashboard, which is featured in our SIPSA, shows is the progress of our English learners. So because that's such a huge group for us, that's something that we look at, and we spend a lot of money towards them. They say, what does that look like for us? And I'm just really happy that at Valley Oaks, in that particular section, that part of the dashboard, English learner progress, we're in the blue. No, we're not blue in anything. But in English learner progress, we're blue. And that means that our English learners, they're gaining with their English acquisition, their English knowledge, based on the LPAC, the yearly test that they take. Our students who are reclassified test higher than any other student group that we have, including English only students. So just really proud to see that we're spending a lot of money, to help them, and we're seeing some results. So I think that's ultimately what the SIPSA is trying to do. It also highlights other areas that you need to improve in, of course, but this was an area of pride.
And blue is the highest performance level, in case you couldn't tell that.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson.
percentage.
Okay, I want to highlight, well, I'm going to say thank you to everyone so I don't seem like I'm not thankful.
You guys did the hard work.
Yes, it's definitely, it is definitely a great reflection of the school year and great time to think about planning for the upcoming students but one of the things I want to highlight, one of our learner support team spends quite a lot of time looking at engagement for our students and engagement for our families and lots of meetings and lots of goals and actions that are put into place. And so under chronic absenteeism, we are no longer red in any student group. We have our chronic absenteeism has declined or declined significantly in every student group that's reported. And so that is something we're very proud of because it takes not only the school, but the families and lots of sometimes outside of the box thinking to remove barriers for children and their families getting to school. And that's the most important part in terms of looking at our other scores like data being at school important and so we're orange and yellow.
Thank you. Ms. Marquez.
Well, I was the neediest of the bunch since this is my first year having to do this, so thank you, Kulji. I loved her a lot. I wanted to highlight that one of our goals at Fairsight had to do with developing oral language skills. And the strategy was that teachers would be provided with professional development to better support the needs of dual language learners. So all TK teachers participated in BGLAD training, and that's a language acquisition program. So teachers learn strategies to develop students' academic language. And our dual language immersion teachers have been participating now for a couple of years in ongoing professional development for the dual language immersion program. And the trainers for both of those programs were excellent. The teachers were highly engaged, and I could see immediate implementation of the strategies that they were learning as they were going throughout this training.
Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Thank you for there.
Can I get a motion to approve 232.519?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you, Annette. I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Annette Kunze to approve item number 232519, seconded by Tracy Skinner. Casey Regoy.
Aye.
Wesley Cagle.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion passes 4-0.
Okay, 232.520, board consideration of approval of the 24-25 expulsion panel.
So this is an annual item that we bring to the board, and we are asking for approval to appoint these administrators that could serve on a hearing panel if we ever had an expulsion hearing.
Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve 232.520?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Wes. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you. I have a motion from Wesley Cagle to approve item number 232520, seconded by Casey Regoy. Tracy Skinner.
Aye.
Annette Kunze.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
Okay, 232.521, board consideration of approval of declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 24-25 year.
Thank you. The Declaration of Need for Fully Qualified Educators provides the district with flexibility and options to fill vacancies with potential intern teachers or by issuing teachers emergency permits. This declaration must be presented to the board for approval on an annual basis. The Declaration of Need that you have in front of you includes 7 intern teachers who will participate in the intern district program, as well as the district estimated need for 1 emergency transitional kindergarten teacher and 2 CLAD emergency permits. So we are asking for board approval.
Okay, any questions? I'll make the motion to approve 232.521.
I'll second.
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you. I have a motion from Tracy Skinner to approve item number 232521, seconded by Casey Revoy. Annette Kunze?
Aye.
Wesley Cagle?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
Item 232.522, board consideration of approval of the provisional internship permits for newly hired educators.
Thank you, and this is similar to the declaration of need. So districts are allowed flexibility with filling vacancies with individuals who haven't yet entered an internship program by placing them on a provisional internship permit. So this public notice is in compliance with the provisional internship permit request issued by the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing. It is the district's intent to employ the following employee on the basis of a provisional internship permit. So the teacher's name is Christy Raymer. She will be a full-time teacher assigned to Moringa Ranch in a special education assignment for the coming school year. We're asking for board approval.
Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve 232.522?
I'll make the motion for 232.522.
Thank you, Casey. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Annette.
Thank you. I have a motion from Casey Revoy to approve item number 232522, seconded by Annette Kunze. Tracy Skinner?
Aye.
Wesley Cagle?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Now, 232.523, for consideration of approval of agreement between the Galt Joint Union Elementary School District and Tiber Corporation. T&B construction for district office restoration services and painting project.
All right, thank you. So it's been 28 years since the district has purchased this building, and as you know, we rent to the landlords. We own AutoZone, the whole building, and in the 28 years, we've had very, very minor, if any, repairs to the building. Nothing more than really carpet, and we put some walls up and made some more cubicles and things like that. But the exterior and the painting, everything has been here since the 28 years. The roof is really bad too, that's part of this. But the exterior of the building, especially the west and the south side, they're really falling apart. You can push the stucco in, and there's pieces of the stucco coming off. And it's been like this for about 5 or 6 years. We've had to fiscal services office in the back and tech office in the back. There's a lot of water damage that's come through, and we've had to spend thousands of dollars over the last few years to have a restoration management come out and fix it. It's been temporary fixes. Over the last year, I'd say over the last year, we've had 3 or 4 contractors come out and really evaluate the roof and the exterior of the building to give us some estimates on what we need to get done. Eventually, we need to replace this whole roof. But we're not doing that yet. We want to just, at least before it rains again, get the exterior and part of the roof where it's identified that some of the roof is deteriorating. We do need to build it back up. But the gutters need to be redone. The stucco on the 2 walls that needs to completely come down needs to be re-lathed, and it needs to be re-stuccoed over the masonry blocks. And so we put it out to bid. Originally, we were hoping it would be under the bid limit, and we got some estimates back and it was over the bid limit, so we had to take it out. And we had 6 contractors that submitted bids anywhere from $199,000 up to $375,000. In this case, it was a low bid, so we have to go with the lowest bidder if they were qualified, and they were qualified, pre-qualified with us, and they met the bond requirements as well, and insurance and that. We have not worked with this contractor before, but again, they are qualified. And so for you have the bid form of the different contractors, the bid amount, you have the bid form that they submitted, and then you have the contract. They're coming on Thursday morning if board approves this to meet with us and work on a schedule. We want to get it started right away because it gets really busy around here in August. We're hoping that they can get the work done beginning of by August. We did already get the city permit. So yeah, we got permission from the city to remove the stucco and reapply. We'll communicate with the businesses here, AutoZone, of course, because some of the parking will be taken up for a few weeks, but it's time. So they'll also repainting the whole building. So you can tell driving by that it's time as well. And we have to keep up, I mean, we are landlords, we have to keep up with the building. So it is 199,000. We have, we've been saving our revenue that we collect from AutoZone, knowing that we need to start putting some of the money back into this building. So we have about half from revenue from, what we get from AutoZone as tenants, and then general fund maintenance. And then probably within the next couple of years, depending on budget, we're gonna have to really look at replacing the whole roof.
I hate to ask, but what does that run?
We heard from a few contractors, probably at least 300,000.
Any other questions or comments? It needs to get done, especially before winter, so. I will make the motion to approve 232.523. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. The motion from Tracy Skinner to approve item number 232523, seconded by Casey Regoy. Annette Kunzey.
Aye.
Wesley Cagle.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
And now we are at 232.524, board consideration of approval of the Galt Joint Union Elementary School District Sunshine proposal for fiscal year 24-25 with CSEA articles. You're making me do Roman numerals.
You can just say transfers and
Transfers and promotional
10 and
opportunities.
11. So this was a informational item last month, and now it needs to be a board action. So those are the two articles: transfers and promotional opportunities. We plan to negotiate with our classified employees.
Any questions, comments? Can I get a motion to approve 232.524?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you, Annette. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you. I have a motion from Annette Kunzey to approve item number 232524, seconded by Casey Regoy. Tracy Skinner.
Aye.
Wesley Cagle.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
Okay, 232.525. For consideration of approval of the Galt Joint Union Elementary School District Sunshine proposal for fiscal year 24-25 with GEFA.
So this is likewise, last month, informational item, and we plan on negotiating this year with our teachers union, the evaluation procedures and term of contract.
Any questions or comments? Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Wes. I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Wesley Cagle to approve item number 232525, seconded by Tracy Skinner. Casey Regoy.
Aye.
Annette Kunzey.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
Okay, and item 232.526, board consideration of approval of the board policies. And we heard them all
Yes.
last time. Any questions or comments? No public comments? Why?
No, there are no public comments.
In that case, can I get a motion to approve 232.526?
I'll make the motion for 232.526.
Thank you, Casey. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Annette.
Thank you. I have a motion from Casey Regoy to approve item number 232526, seconded by Annette Kunzey. Tracy Skinner.
Aye.
Wesley Cagle.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-0.
And then do we have any public comments for items not on the agenda?
We do not have public comment.
Okay. Any pending agenda items that we want to know?
I wanted to, we've talked a lot about attendance and even maybe reading too. I don't know if there's an opportunity there, but if there's anything we as a board can do, whether that's celebrating people who have attendance or having some, and I don't know what that is, but having some sort of role in acknowledging and recognizing the attendance, the importance of attendance. And then, even if there's anything with the reading as well. So I don't know if there's some brainstorming that needs to happen there, but
A renewed incentive program. I don't know, something spicy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that like
Lively.
at this level, I mean, when they
Motivational.
come with their families
Yeah,
and,
good
or
idea.
Yeah,
starts to spread a little bit.
I think that's a great idea.
Any other items? Then this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.